No, 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 no. Okay. Apparently I am live. Let's see. How do I get out of here? There. All right. So I am theoretically live in the Facebook group and in on YouTube and on the Facebook page. So let's see if you guys are seeing this. Just give me a wave. StreamYard is not showing me any people here yet. So let's see what happens. We're going to talk about election anxiety. I'm sure it's going to take a little while. So let's see here. Let me put up this guy. That is, if you are watching on Facebook or especially in the Facebook group, go to that URL because that will and tell StreamYard it's okay for them to know your name because this way I can see your name. Otherwise, I just see Facebook user. So if you do that, that would be great. All right, we got 20 people. We'll wait a few more minutes. We're going to talk about election anxiety. So what I want to do though is I want to be super clear about this. We're not going to talk about the election or your candidate or who you want to win or who's terrible and who's great. We're not going to talk about that at all. Not at all. We're not going to do that. So we're really going to just talk about the anxiety over the uncertainty of what this is and maybe not getting the outcome that you really, really, really want, which I totally get. Like you might really want a specific outcome, which again, I respect that. But we're just going to talk about how to deal with the anxiety that comes along with the uncertainty. So we're up to 26 people. You guys are can't post comments. All right, that's fine. Brian is here. Kathleen is here. Melissa is here. I see a bunch of Facebook users. I can't see your name, so you got to hit that URL if you can and tell StreamYard it's okay to use your name, so I know who you are. But I will respond to comments anyway. All right. So we got 27 people. Let's rock and roll here because I don't have a lot of time to do this. So here's the deal. Like we already knew here in the U.S. That this was going to be weird, and sure enough. It's weird. It's like totally weird. So what we have going on here right now is clearly a situation that we've not encountered in our lifetimes before. And it's super close and nobody knows what's going on. So we're dealing with a tremendous amount of uncertainty and a lot of times fear. So for many people who are dealing with the topics that we talk about all the time, uncertainty and the unknown means fear, which means anxiety, which means being afraid of how you feel. So I really want to talk about what we can do about it because we cannot like make the unknown go away. We have no ability to do that. So what I really want to talk about the productive ways that you can navigate feeling uncertain and afraid today and not really sure what's going on. Like we're not 100% sure what's going to happen. It's still unfolding, but here are the things that you can do to help navigate that. Australia is here. Can't see your name, but thank you. Appreciate that this is support from Australia. In the UK, let me acknowledge that for a second. It is clear, I'm fortunate enough to have friends all over the world now and communicate with people from all over the world. It is clear that people in other countries actually really care about what's going on here. That is obvious. And I appreciate that you guys might be in the same situation. There's a tremendous amount of anxiety that comes, along with the US election. As crazy as that sounds. I would not have thought that, but it is true. So we will, acknowledge that. So here's what you can do and more specifically what you can't do. And those of you who were following along in the early days of the coronavirus thing here, when I was doing a little bit more of this live video, live streaming stuff was you can decide to not, here's my advice to you, honestly, like ration the time that you're going to watch the news today. Like it's an evolving situation here, right? So every half hour or hour, there is new information because votes are being counted. So it's okay to pop in, pick a news outlet. BBC America is a good choice because there's far less spin there. Hey guys, so pick a news outlet, whichever one you want it to be, and then just pop in and just check it out. They're going to show you the numbers at the bottom of the screen, whatever the website you go to. New York Times is a good website. They'll update the numbers, see what's going on, and then move on. So give yourself 10 minutes every hour and a half to see what's going on, right? That's all you really need to know. You don't need to watch CNN or Fox News or CNBC or whatever I don't care what your outlet is. It doesn't matter to me really, but you don't have to just have that constantly on in the background. Last night, I bailed by around 12:30. Around 12:30 a.m. I said, hey, you know what? Yeah, you guys, you're not telling me anything new. You're just repeating the same things again and again and again. So I bailed. Like I don't need to hear the same thing again and again and again. And so this morning I kind of sampled some of the news a little bit and I discovered, yes, that's sort of going on. The same things again and again and again. Because it would be easier for them to just say, hey, we don't know, but we will let you know when we get more information. So you're going to have to check in, like give yourself 5 or 10 minutes every hour and a half, check in with the news, see what the numbers are, and you'll get a feel for what's going on. That's fine. Here's the other thing I would definitely not do, because this is an important thing. Do not spend the morning or the afternoon as this is unfolding just scrolling through your social media, because that is not a way to get good information about what's going on either. What you're going to get there is what your neighbors, your friends, your kids, parents, kids, friends, parents, all the people you're connected to on social media, which may be a very wide range of people with a lot of different political beliefs, which is fine. You're going to get what they want to talk about. You're going to get their anger. You're going to get their fear. You're going to get their desire to somehow make the outcome that they want. You're going to get people who are going to really, really say things that you either strongly agree with, which that's great, but that doesn't change, not knowing. It doesn't eliminate uncertainty. Or you're going to get people who are absolutely diametrically opposed to you and are going to say things that you hate to hear. And that's not going to help you either. So I don't think that on a day like today, in a morning like this, that social anxiety is a good, social media is a good source of information. It's not. It's actually not a good source of information. So do not spend your time just scrolling through social media all the time. It's actually not going to help you. It's probably going to hurt you, and it's going to increase anxiety. Okay. So limit the amount of time you spend watching actual media outlets, and, do not get your news and your updates on social media. And the post that I made this morning on Instagram about resisting the temptation to join what I wanted to call the angry mob. And I'm not saying it's angry on both sides of this election, by the way. So joining in with, this is terrible, he's the worst. No, he's the worst. He's a fascist. He's a socialist, whatever the arguments are. We all know the arguments and we don't want to go into them here, but it doesn't help us right now to join into those arguments, because you're going to get people who are going to argue back at you, which isn't going to change the outcome of this election in any way. So nothing that anybody is going to say to you on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or anything is actually going to influence this election. None of it, none. So there's really no point in actually getting involved in an argument about what votes should count, what's illegal, what's not. The argument isn't going to change the outcome in any way, shape, or form at all. And all it does is just add to the stress and add to the angst and fuel the focus on what if. And we're going to get to what if in a second, right? So stay informed, but do not engage. There's really no reason to engage in the rhetoric and the arguing that, is really kind of surrounding the topic right now. You're not going to change anybody's mind. They won't change yours. You're just going to make each other angry, and you're not going to influence the outcome of the election. So one of the things that was kind of interesting is to watch both camps get out in the media and try and get ahead of each other and sort of like control the narrative. But that's ridiculous, because the narrative doesn't matter anymore. There's no narrative anymore. Like, the votes are in, they're going to get counted. There'll probably be some legal challenges here and there. That's probably going to happen. But arguing about it and painting a picture of what you think should happen and trying to convince people isn't going to change what actually does happen. Because trust me, when you are arguing with your neighbor on Facebook about the election and what should happen here and what's right and what's wrong and who's horrible and who's not, is actually not going to influence the decision of a Pennsylvania state judge or a Supreme Court justice. They're not watching. They ain't watching. So you can disengage from that. It's completely okay to do that. You are not required to live your day in the stream of crap that's going to like sort of bury you. So then what can you do? Let's talk about what you can do. And by the way, I like literally ran out of the shower and just ran onto the screen. That's what I do. There's no planning here. So what can you do today? I would say that what you can do is whatever you can do. So first of all, give yourself the space and the permission to say, you know what? I freaking hate this. I'm anxious about it. I don't want so-and-so to win. I don't want this guy to win. I don't want whatever. Like, I'm worried about the outcome, depending on who wins, things are going to be different. I'm going to have to change my course. You can think about all those things a little bit, but think about it productively. There's no sense in standing there and just wringing your hands over what if, and engaging in catastrophic thinking. Catastrophic thinking and engaging in the anger stream just adds to the catastrophe. So you don't need to hear that, oh no, if this guy wins, then we'll be socialist and it's going to be all over. And if this guy wins, it's going to be, totalitarianism. Like, those are exacerbating statements. Those are exaggerations. That's political rhetoric. You do not have to engage with that at all. So I think you can engage productively in, yes, I am in fact nervous about this. I want my candidate to win. I believe very strongly in some of these things. I'm worried about what so-and-so might do if he wins or if he wins. Okay, you can acknowledge those things. You're allowed to feel those things. You're human. You're allowed to have opinions and express them. Totally cool. But just don't spend the entire day on what if, what if, what if, what if. Like accomplish what you can accomplish. So like I care who wins. Like I have an opinion like everybody else. I do care. I'm interested. But like, so what did I do this morning? I watched a little, couple of news outlets a couple of times just to stay on top of the numbers, which I think I was in every May. I checked 2 or 3 times so far. I had a phone conversation with a friend that was pretty cool, and I ran. I took a shower. I got some work done. Like whatever it is you can do today that would have been on your agenda anyway if there was no election that happened yesterday. Do those things, and you can take along your fear or your anxiety or your uncertainty or your anger. Take it along for the ride, but do something productive. And I will actually even suggest that maybe this is a good day to do something even more special. Like call a friend that you haven't talked to in 3 months, like reconnect with somebody that's important to you. Tell somebody that you love them. Take a walk in a park that you haven't been to, like do some work in your garden or, do something special that's a positive thing because that matters. Because I think in the end, like really, you still control your own life. Who wins the US presidential election is important. It's actually more important who wins your local elections, to be honest with you, but that's a topic for another story, for another video. But it's important and we have to care, but we also have way more control over our own lives and the lives of our family and our friends and our communities than they do. Like Donald Trump and Joe Biden don't have nearly the control over your life that like the catastrophic thinking and the anger and the what if and the hand wringing would have you believe. So go show yourself that you can do fun things, that you can create something beautiful, that you can make a connection with another human being, that you can accomplish something. You can check something off your to-do list. You are capable and competent, even when politicians are squabbling, angry at each other, trying to control what you think, and just generally screwing everything up because they kind of are. So, but you don't have to let that impact you. You are allowed to actually go do stuff, you know. So, I think that's probably the advice that I can offer right now. Like you can disengage, give yourself like specific times that you're going to go and check on the numbers because you want to stay informed. There's nothing wrong with that. You do not get your news all day from social media. Don't engage in the anger stream. Do something for yourself, accomplish something, make a connection today, do something positive today, and just check in now and then. And if you're going to be anxious all day long, then that's okay. You could be anxious all day long. You can actually plant some flowers in your garden while you are anxious. Like imagine that you can do both of those things at the same time. I want to address one other thing. And this, again, I don't want to make this political at all. And I appreciate that somebody asked, like, do I? Yeah, I do care. I actually do care who wins, but who I want to win is irrelevant in this conversation. And yes, I can't see your name, but it does matter more who wins your local elections. So if you want to get super riled up and angry, bake a cake. I would eat some cake today. I would totally eat some cake. I won't bake a cake, but I would totally eat some cake. If you really want to get riled up about it, then get riled up over your local elections because they impact your life much more than the presidential election. But that's neither here nor there. I want to address this criticism, which is a valid criticism. And I've heard people say like, oh, this advice to just stay on the sidelines is ridiculous. We're not talking about a basketball game here. We're talking about life and people's lives. Yeah, we are. So who wins the election actually will have impact on our lives. That's true. We are overblowing sometimes and not, I'm not going to say overblowing it, but we are catastrophizing it when we get caught up and caught up and caught up. We can actually process that impact, analytically, rationally. We'll inject the emotion when we have to. I am not saying to not care what goes on in the world. I am not advising that you not care because a lot of people are. A lot of people are saying like, oh, you just got to disengage with this. Like you could disengage today so that you're not drowning in misinformation and just anxiety that you don't need. But in the end, you can also care about the outcome and make whatever plan you can. If this person wins or this person wins, I'm going to get involved in this organization. I'm going to volunteer my time on this. I'm going to campaign in the next election. I'm going to do that. You can do those things. You can do those things for sure. Like we can care and we have to care. So we do have to care, but we can care productively. So I'm not telling anybody to not care about the outcome of the election. I'm just trying to like offer some guidance in terms of not getting into the spiral. Like, and I've heard people say like, I'm spiraling. Well, spiraling in many ways, I know not popular, but spiraling is a choice. Like you're choosing to sit there and wring your hands and spiral. Like spiraling is a choice. We can choose not to do that, or we can at least choose to make an attempt to live a productive day while we are uncomfortable and anxious and afraid. We can do that. We are capable of doing that. So let's do that. And you know what? We can still care. So it's all right. Tribalism as identity, Becky, that's a big topic. And you kind of nailed that. You kind of nailed it. So we do have a major tribalism problem, not just in the US, but worldwide. It's a thing. I see we're talking about angry cake with messy frosting, says Dennis. Very good. Angry cake is especially tasty. We're on the cake thing. Let's talk cake. That's totally fine. I'm going to scroll up and see if there are any comments. So I've landed for 15 minutes. That ain't so bad. It's okay to be upset today. It really is. It's okay to be super upset when it's all over and your person doesn't win. That's okay too. And I'm going to offer one more little bit of suggestion that might be a little political in nature, but you know what? If your guy wins, reach out to the other guys. Like it's okay to reach out to the other guys, why did they vote the way they vote? Maybe we got to learn to talk to each other a little bit more. So we can try and make productive things come out of this. It ain't easy, but we could try to have productive outcomes in what is a decidedly non-productive and really crappy situation right now. Let's see. Okay. So Becky says, knowing yourself, you adopt something. Yeah, that's a really common thing right now. Becky, you are right. So tribalism as my identity, like I don't really want to express who I am. I'll just automatically adopt who I want to be based on identifying with particular like tribal identities, political ideologies. I want to be seen as a badass, so I will identify with those people that to me seem badass. I want to be seen as super sensitive and a great human, so I'll identify with the other people. But in the end, we have to pick our own path. So Becky, it's a really good point. It's a complicated thing, but yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. There's a lot of cake talk. Love it. Anyway, the most important thing to treat people with kindness, respect others' choice. Yeah. And again, I can't see your name. It just shows up as this. Sorry. But that's a good point. And again, if we want to try and turn a negative, which clearly is a negative for most of us today, into a positive, we can adopt that kind of approach and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm going to try and start some dialogue. I'm not just going to call the person who voted. Look, we're not going to get anywhere if we're just screaming at each other that we're either socialist or Neanderthals. Like there's a middle ground. We're also human beings and people vote for a reason. They vote. We all vote the way we vote for a reason. So maybe you could become an agent of communication. And I know that could be super difficult when we are like fueled by tribalism and we're so polarized, but there are things that we can do even when anxious and uncertain and afraid to try and make things maybe a little bit better and improve the situation. Like we're capable of doing that. Even people with anxiety can make a difference and make things better. It's really good. So that's the deal. Let me see any other comments here other than cake. Pretty good. Less than 20 minutes. I think I did all right here. Anybody want to ask any particular questions before I sign off? I'm happy to answer them. I got a few more minutes. Let's see who is here. I can see who is Susan Craig, Melissa Appalachia is here, Kathleen, Brian, and then I saw you guys. Debbie from Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn. My whole family comes from Brooklyn. So there you go. Jesse, no. Oh, I guess Jesse is here. Okay, I can't see your names. I make too much sense. All right, guys, I guess that's it. I don't see any other comments other than cake. Go bake a cake, and if you bake some, I don't know, send me some because I could totally go for some cake. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Keep commenting wherever it is you're watching, I guess, and the discussion is good by all means. Support each other. Like give each other something good to talk about or be productive in the comments. Like make a new friend. Maybe you'll make a new friend in the comment section. Who the hell knows? How about that? Maybe you'll make a new friend in the comment section. And especially if you're watching on YouTube where the comment section is an absolute sewer, maybe make it nice today. Make a new friend in the comment section. Reach out to somebody. See how they're doing. Ask if they're okay. Try that. I don't know. Crazy talk, right? All right, guys, thanks for popping by. I appreciate it. I just haven't developed psychic powers through meditation. What you're looking for, Becky, is levitation. You want to meditate so much that you can literally float above the ground. I'm kidding. That's a joke. But anyway, all right, cool beans. Thanks for coming by, guys. Stay informed, but don't get crazy. See you later.